Afternoon. Obviously, brief introduction and summary to Georgian mining. We're an exploration and resource development company. We've got a large license area. We're focused on the Tethyan. We have a joint venture 50-50 with a Georgian exploration company. They have a sister production company that I'll be speaking about a little later. We think we've got the potential for a pipeline of good projects here. It's essentially an epithermal gold with polymetallics story. We've made some changes to the management team recently. I think we've got a strong core of shareholders who are staying with us. And basically, Georgia is a good address, supportive of the industry, and as I say, a large license area. We have some changes to the team. Because our activities cover the full spectrum from greenfield exploration through to one of the advanced projects which is going to feasibility study this year, we've made some changes and brought some people in who are capable of covering that spectrum, myself and some other hires that we've brought on recently. Some market information, you can look at that. You can look at that afterwards. We completed the $6 million initial buy-in for ourselves into the joint venture in September. Thereafter, since then it's been on 50-50 basis. We've got a work program agreed this year with our partners, including an MOU on production, which sets out the framework for how we're going to take the advanced project into production. During the course of the last year, we've also made a significant discovery, really by applying some different thinking, some fresh eyes over existing data, and our own drill program has identified a large copper sulfide body beneath what was known before as a sort of oxide cap, but not really understanding what lay underneath. And obviously, with such a large area, there's a tremendous amount of historical information available, and we've been going through that to extract what is still useful today. So essentially, three elements to the strategy. Continuing to push ahead with the development of Kevemi-Bonlisi East. That has a logical program this year of infill drilling, metallurgical test work, feasibility study. Two key milestones during the course of this year, a definitive production sale agreement with our partners for the extraction and processing of that ore at their facilities. Their existing operations are only about 6 kilometres away from this project. And towards the end of the year, the completion of the feasibility study and the usual sort of go, no-go decision between the partners on going ahead with construction and production. In parallel with that, the work program this year includes continuing to develop the other targets in the license area. They cover a spectrum of historical activity. Some of them are significantly more advanced, have had a lot of drilling done before during the Soviet era. But overall, we have more than a dozen projects in addition to the KB project. There's a dozen other targets in the license area. Some of them are at target definition, but a number of them are actually now into target testing. And we remain open also to looking at other assets. We're looking at some at the moment which we may be adding to the portfolio. I like this slide because it allows me to say that the license area is actually just over 1% of Georgia. So it's a large area. And some of the illustrations I've got now will show you that. The license area is divided into two. The operating mines, we have a laser here. The operating mines for our partners lie here, and they've got a capital development project in the center here. This is the oldest mine in the region, so this is there's an open pit and heap leach and sulfide processing plant there. At the other operation at Skadrisi, they have 5 open pits and a heap leaching operation. The other targets shown in the license area are the others that we have that we're doing work on, as I said, at various stages of development. This is the KB project. The more advanced project is this area here with a gold oxide cap, supergene enrichment going down a couple of 100 meters, and a large copper sulfide body below that. But it's actually there's a number of targets in that area. They're all fed by these breccia pipes. We think we've been doing some work on this area recently. We think that's actually got its own small feeder pipe here. Same story over here. This is gold-silver over on the west side. So in addition to the more advanced project, we actually have a number of other targets within that immediate area. As I say, this is only about 6 kilometres as the crow flies to our partners' operations. This gives you an illustration of not just the oxide cap, but 200-metre deep chalcocite supergene enrichment zone. You can see the drilling has really been limited to about 250 metres below surface. We've tagged one of the pipes down here just to confirm the location. The program this year includes drilling down to greater depths, because what we really want to do is understand the scale of the ultimate, potential ultimate pit, so we can take account of that when we're designing the initial phase of the operation, which would be to remove the gold oxide cap. In the wider licence area, what I wanted to do here really was, obviously I'm not going to speak to all of this, but there's the more advanced projects to highlight here, this Sitel, Sapelli and Dambludi. They're actually all on similar trends. The Sitel Sapelli project actually is on a northeast trending structure that goes straight through the Matnuli mine. And a flavour of those, this is Dambludi. Essentially near surface, really high grades. On the eastern side, we have high grade gold to very high grade gold, multi-ounce intersections in adits that were mined during the Soviet era. And what we're particularly doing this year is to assess whether there's disseminated potential over here as well. Obviously, this is going to, the focus of our program this year is to do the validation on some of that historical information. On the northern side and wrapping around over to the west, it's all narrow quartz sulfide veins, but some very high base metal intersections over on the western side. So essentially, this project is divided into two halves: gold opportunities on the east and base metals on the west. You can see top right there. Basically, it's all very close to surface. Most of the mineralization is above 100 meters depth. So our program this year is a suite of quite shallow 100-meter holes to get some proper definition, understand the morphology of the veins, etc. What appeals to me for this is that if this proves up in the way that we hope, then this can be developed quite quickly into a project, because it's obviously near surface and will presumably be open pittable. The second priority project is TS. This is classic low sulfidation epithermal gold copper vein system. There was 140 kilometers of historical drilling done on this during the Soviet era, but they were all vertical holes, as you can see illustrated, in what is patently a vertical or subvertical vein system. So some of the holes, of course, tagged the veins, but others missed them completely. This is deeper, and what we see here is evidenced from the previous drilling. There's clear evidence of an improvement in grade with depth, and the mineralized fluids come up from down below, and the gold is being dumped progressively as you approach surface. So there's support for that. We've got 1 to 4 grams close to surface. We've got intersections down at the base here of 94 meters at 7 grams, and we expect multi-ounce intersections down below. So the program this year is to test that, provide some validation, and that'll allow us then to move ahead with a much more aggressive exploration program. So in essence, continue the development of that more advanced project through feasibility study and go decisions at the end of the year, and push ahead with the validation and then a more aggressive program on the other opportunities in the wider license area.